brings you stories within that. The conflict, the judgment, how significant, and if not, get the cold perspective you've never seen. Watch Prime Time on Al Jazeera America, Channel 1219.
Well, growing controversy now after a big election win for the leader of America's top ally in the Middle East. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu of Israel winning another term in office, despite what looked like an uphill fight in the final weeks of the race. In just 24 hours, Mr. Netanyahu was getting congratulatory phone calls from the leaders of England, Canada, and India, with the EU even releasing a statement in support. And while the White House insists that President Obama will be calling in the coming days, critics say the silence from Mr. Obama so far is putting some serious strain on an already tense relationship with an important ally. Dana Perino is co-host of The Five and former White House press secretary. So you've actually been in the position of advising a president on when to congratulate, whether to congratulate. What do you think of the delay?
Well, the White House that I worked in, you make the call. You didn't have to advise President Bush to make the call because it was his instinct. You're the first to call. Because if you're the first to call, especially if you are suffering somewhat of a defeat, right? If you are embarrassed because your guy didn't win, like here, you want to be the first to call because that's gracious. You're not diminished by being gracious. You're going to say, well played. Congratulations. We've got a lot of work to do. I'm going to be in Europe next month. Can you meet me in Austria or in Vienna? And let's have a conversation with something that would just bring people together. He has a great opportunity, President Obama, to actually press a reset button that could work with a great ally who is not, I don't think that antagonism is what we Americans and Israelis, we want our leaders to get along, right? And so having Vice President Biden call today was meant as an insult. And it was unjust.
Foreign minister.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I think that they said that Biden was going to call, and then later on, they get back into a corner and say, well, President Obama will call in the coming days.
Right.
Now tonight,
They say the last time around he called a few days after as well. He didn't call right away the last time Netanyahu won. So this is just a matter of course.
And that works
Ignore
so
what
well.
Canada's doing. Ignore what England is doing and so on.
right, I think that they should just make the call. But here's the other thing. Aside from the phone call, it is the fact that we have a serious problem on two fronts. One is the situation with the deal and the talks with Iran. And setting that aside, however, is a conversation about the Palestinians and what to do there. There was a troubling report tonight, I think, out of a senior administration official, someone floating a little bit of a trial balloon out there to say that there might be some problems now that the United States has with Israel, and that might actually leak into conversations at the United Nations Security Council, in which Europe has not been supportive of Israel at all. If the United States, if the White House, the president in his last 2 years, floats an idea that the United States may not support Israel at the United Nations, even if he doesn't mean it, but if it is out of spite, that is a huge problem because what it does is it signals to Hamas and Hezbollah that it is open season on Israel. And so I would just hope that the president would just take a breath. It's okay to call. Say congratulations.
Is he just being petty because his critics came out today and called him petty and said he's being small about it, that he basically needs to grow up? This is Jennifer Rubin at the Washington Post. His gross pettiness and rudeness are there for all to see. She said President Obama was obviously a loser in this sense, just like the real loser in the Israeli election.
Well, you see, actually even to back up, the White House started this months ago when on background they were calling the Prime Minister of Israel bad names, diminishing him, and then doing it on the record, and trying to influence their election. They made this calculation that if President Obama didn't, or if President Obama had accepted Benjamin Netanyahu at the White House when he came to give that speech in front of Congress, they made this calculation.